Hello, everyone. I hope you are all having a blessed Wednesday. Here's your daily news report and fourth stimulus package update. And if you're interested in entering my $100 Walmart gift card giveaway that's scheduled for this Friday, please make sure to watch until the end of this video. Thank you so much, everyone. After years of puny increases in their Social Security checks, older Americans will likely get the equivalent of a big raise next year. The 68 million Americans, including retirees, the disabled, and others who rely on these kind of benefits, are likely to receive a 6% to 6.1% cost of living adjustment next year because of a crisis-related spike in inflation. Such a rise would far outpace the 1.4% average bumps in Social Security payments since the year 2010. and amount to the largest increase since 1982. For the average retiree who receives a monthly check of $1,559 this year, a 6% rise would increase that payment by $93.54 to $1,652.54. That's starting next year. Next month, the Social Security Administration will announce its cost of living adjustment for the year 2022, based on average annual increases in the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers from July through September of this year. Overall prices has increased 5.4% annually in both June and July, which is a 13-year high. But inflation edged down to 5.3% in August. Such prices surged as the nation emerged from this crisis, and Americans started traveling again. But the Federal Reserve have said they believe the spike is only temporary, and as a result, the actual cost of living increase that SSA announces next month is something of a moving target and could dip to 5.9%.
Several people that have reached out to me and say, I found out that the president's order exempts Congress. And so how come you get an exemption and I don't? I've quickly responded back to them because we're a co-equal branch of government, and the president's trying to find everybody under, quote unquote, his purview to be able to do this. But the judicial branch and the legislative branch aren't under his purview. Neither should the American people, because the American people do not work for the president of the United States. And companies of 100 people or more, their chief executive, their leadership does not work for the President of the United States. So now what? There are lawsuits that are pending, but those lawsuits can't move forward until the actual paperwork comes out from the White House. When that actual paperwork comes out in the next couple of weeks, we assume, we've not been told, then they'll have what's called standing in the courts. And litigation from across the country will be able to speak into, and federal judges across the country will be able to move on an injunction on this out of control mandate, and to be able to say they cannot just compel people to be able to go take a shot because the president wants to get it. So that'll be the first big step. There'll be legislative challenges that'll come through this body. They are slower, so the federal courts are the fastest response to this. But there'll be multiple other groups that will push back on this, myself included. Listen, why would we not respect those individuals that have already had COVID-19? According to an article that's in the Wall Street Journal just today, there's a study out of Israel that shows that the immunity from natural immunity is 27 times more effective than the shot. 27 times, according to the study that was just recently come out. To ignore that and to say that's not enough.
The high COLA estimate for next year mostly has been driven by higher gasoline and transportation costs that have pushed up the cost of living increase. The U.S. has sent out 3 rounds of stimulus checks since the crisis-induced economic crisis began in the spring of 2020. All eligible Americans received up to $3,200 from the Internal Revenue Service, and some are still seeing additional payments from the economic impact payments. Democrats in Congress have a little over a month to hammer out the details of their $3.5 trillion reconciliation budget plan, which they plan to push through with a party line vote. But some Americans will be receiving an additional stimulus payment this month. The Internal Revenue Service has until the end of December of this year to distribute the funds from the third round of economic impact payments, or better known as stimulus checks. That round of direct payments to American taxpayers was based on tax filings, like the two before. But once again, the Internal Revenue Service had to use the prior year's information to determine how much to send. Those who saw their income take a hit during the crisis were possibly eligible for a supplemental payment. Conversely, those who were overpaid got to keep the extra money. The IRS has been sending out plus-up payments since April and will continue to do so weekly until the end of this year, as well as those who had not filed a tax return in the past 2 years due to low earnings, but filed this year are seeing their stimulus payments as the IRS processes returns. The tax agency has been working through a backlog caused by this crisis, which was made worse by a decade of budget and staff cuts. The House Ways and Means Committee prepped its portion of the $3.5 trillion bill over the past several days. The House Ways and Means Committee prepped its portion of the $3.5 trillion bill over the past several days. Stephanie Murphy tried to hold the fiscal bottom line. The Florida Democrat is a moderate, a leader of the fiscally conscious Blue Dog Coalition. Representative Murphy said there were major sections of the bill lacking scores or the cost analysis by the Congressional Budget Office. She stated that the bill was missing text for major sections. Murphy says she's in an impossible situation. Representative Murphy stated it was hard to pass judgment on proposals that lacked cost estimates. Democrats are stuffing this bill with social spending to address what they argue as deficiencies. House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Richard Neal said, a lack of paid leave, inaccessible childcare, inadequate long-term saving. Democrats are stuffing this bill with social spending to address what they argue are deficiencies. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi stands by the $3.5 trillion cost. However, Pelosi did slightly crack the door ajar to the possibility of a smaller bill. But still, the Speaker has questions for those pushing for a smaller bill. This is starting to get challenging. Liberal Democrats are pressuring Democratic leaders to stick with $3.5 trillion, and moderates are digging in their heels, pushing for a smaller bill around $1.5 trillion to $2 trillion. Republicans know Senate Democrats must vote as a bloc to pass the social spending plan. Success or failure of the bill hinges on two moderates, Democratic Senators Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin. Progressives say they won't support the bipartisan infrastructure package if they don't score a top-drawer social spending plan that costs at least $3.5 trillion. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez even described the bipartisan infrastructure package as anti-climate, adding that she will not vote for a conservative infrastructure package unless we have the $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation package. If you're interested in winning a $100 Walmart gift card this coming Friday, please comment below this keyword, like my video, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a very blessed Wednesday night.